Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jacob Restituto, and I am extremely excited because we have Anthony from Landr here today. We are talking about where the music industry is, what we're going in the music industry, and how Landr can be utilized potentially to release music, distribute music, get all these different plugins, and all types of great products that they have. I personally have used them plenty of times before, and currently use them to actually master all my music. So I'm really looking forward to this. Let's bring on Anthony from Landr Socials, or Landr Socials being the tag on your Zoom call, but Landr.com. So I was introduced. I've been using Landr. I got to be honest. I've been using Landr for a long time now. Can you explain actually for the people that haven't heard of your company yet, who you guys are and what you guys do?
Sure, yeah. First of all, it's great to be on here. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure, man.
So Landr is an automated mastering service, and we were actually the first automated mastering service to ever hit the market. And mastering, it's a cool story what mastering was and what it continues to be as release formats change over time, right? So we're going to be
That's
releasing
interesting.
we're going to be releasing a video soon on our channel, explaining what mastering is and how it evolved to be what it is today. But without getting too far into it, like a mastering engineer used to be called a transfer engineer, and they would transfer audio from tape to vinyl. We used to record directly to vinyl, but tape, you can record better to tape, and then they would be responsible for transferring that to vinyl. And then that's when they started to make adjustments before the final was pressed, right? Before the final copy
Yeah.
was pressed, and that would be the master copy. And now we have we're releasing on streaming services, which aren't even physical mediums anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And so there are technical things that you want to hit, and that's what the mastering engineer is doing today. And they're also making your music the best it can sound. And Landers saw that there was an area in the market that more people were creating music in their homes, and a lot of people can't
Yeah.
afford a custom set of ears, and so they've trained an algorithm based on real mastering decisions. So mastering engineers listened to a bunch of songs, mastered them, and taught the algorithm these decisions based on genre. And now the algorithm is learning every time it masters a new song, and it detects the genre automatically and makes these
Hmm.
decisions
Wow.
to conform it to the specifications that streaming services need. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it, I
Yeah,
think.
so let me give a little backstory of my experience with you guys and how I experienced it and how I started. So, when did the company start? When did you guys like start becoming like, so not necessarily start, but like when was it out there for general public use?
That's a good question. I believe it was 2015. Don't quote me on
Yes.
that.
So that sounds so. I probably found you guys in 2016 or maybe early 2017, but probably closer to 2016. And
Actually, I think 2014. I'm going to
okay,
change my answer.
okay. So yeah, so I had been maybe it might have been even earlier because I had previously released a decent amount of music, and when I did that, I was sending it to this random guy in Nashville, paying per song for it to get done. I found your company and I was like, okay, this is really interesting, but like, how good can an algorithm really be? I was super skeptical. So I took my I took the raw version of my already mastered song and I did an A/B test and I put it into your Landr algorithm. I was like, okay, let's see which one I like. And I liked yours better. I did a couple different options, and so I was like, "This is amazing" because it was way more cost effective. It was way more cost effective. I liked the quality, um, and I don't know. I'm very happy with it. And I release a lot of music, and I've been using you guys to master my. I probably say for the past 4 years. In the past 4 years, I've released probably at like 50 songs. I've used you guys for every single one of them.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. I mean, yeah, I mean, getting the right person on the song, you know, it takes the right person, right? And like if you don't have access to that, I I believe, and I use it for my music too, that this is the next best thing. Even like sometimes it'll even beat out mastering engineers, and you see that in comparison videos on YouTube, where they
Hmm.
compare the automated mastering services and then versus a real engineer. So
I should bring mine back. I should put. That's a great content idea. I'm gonna steal that idea, and just promote you guys and be like, look, this is how I master my music, and this is actually one that I paid somebody, whatever, however much I paid that person, a couple years back, and this is the exact song through Landr because I literally did it. I just need to create a video. That's a great idea, man. What kind of
well,
music do
yeah,
you make?
I make mainly orchestral trailer music, so like that epic
Oh, cool.
orchestral sound. And I dabble in other genres too. I grew up on jazz, like in my formative years, like playing on cruise ships and stuff like
Oh,
that.
wow, cool, very cool.
Mm.
Did you do you have you like done actual like orchestral music for like actual trailer? Like, have you gotten in like a movie trailer?
It's like I've gotten placements in other areas, like but not the trailer area yet. Like I have a couple albums out there so far. I think it's the waiting game, and it's a really competitive industry. And especially since COVID, there's no movie industry, and so that
Hmm.
kind of put like I think my album is getting released on Spotify on Friday.
Sweet.
Um, just for like consumer listening, but it's
Yeah.
been out for a bit now, like being pitched to different projects, but there's no movies to pitch to, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that's the bummer. But
So I want to speak on that actually. So Lander has, when I first found Lander, it was just mastering. Since then, you guys have expanded into so many other things. From releasing music, which was a huge thing for me because I used to use a different company, then I switched over to Lander. Um, in full disclosure, I switched from Lander to to DistroKid from releasing music. I gotta be honest, I did that because you guys both had great platforms for it, but during COVID they were a lot faster.
okay,
Because I know that musicians were home, and everybody was releasing music, and it was just it took a lot longer. And I don't know if that's because you guys have more people on your platform or what, but I do want to be.
well, yeah, I mean, definitely certain industries like ours, we saw a spike during COVID
Yeah,
because
I
yeah,
believe
everyone
it.
was making music, and since then they've grown the distro and support team quite a
Yeah,
bit, and so they're trying to keep up with releases that are coming out, and there are very specific formatting, and they
yeah, I
have to
believe
really
it.
review every release and be
I
like they
believe it.
listen to it and they're like, okay, this is good to go, because we have a rating with the streaming services, like, and we don't want to compromise that rating with
A
them.
hundred percent.
And so, yeah, they really do a great job of looking at every release, making sure it's good to go, making sure there's no errors or spelling mistakes and stuff like that.
I do have to say, I've released a couple cover songs through you guys, and I found that super helpful because you guys actually I didn't have to do anything. I put up the cover song, and you guys went and got the licensing for it. We weren't actually able to get licensing for, but the ones that we were, I was super simple. I didn't have to go contact Universal Music Group and try to see if I could cover some famous person's song. I just went straight through you guys, and I was actually that was made it really really nice.
Yeah, the technical licensing for that, yeah, it's a breeze, and it's not a lot of people know about it because yeah, they just I feel like they don't search for it until the last possible minute, and you know,
Yeah, for real,
so yeah.
absolutely. So, can you speak to some of the other products that you guys have?
Sure, yeah. I mean, so the mastering to distribution flow is unique to our platform. I don't think anyone else does that, where you can master a song and release it right afterwards, which I think
Yeah,
is really special.
yeah,
We've recently gotten into the samples products, so like
yep,
just sample packs, creative tools like plugins. So we're really trying to hit those creative tools as of late to help people create better, more interesting music and staying creative,
yeah.
and
I
making
like that
it
you guys
really.
are becoming the all-in-one company. You can master music, or no, but you can start before that. You can find your samples to make the song. Once you have the song, you can get it mixed, or not mixed, but you can have collaborations where you can get people's opinions on your track. Right? That's
Yeah, so
another section.
we launched the Landr network last year, and that's a ton of pro musicians that are offering their services, and you can hire them to listen to your track, to mix and master your track. And I really like it because you can hire someone to master your track, and we also offer mastering. And so it's
Oh, I didn't know that. You could get
yeah,
like hands-on mastering.
yeah, you can get mastering
Oh,
from Howie Weinberg, who mastered Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins.
wow.
Like the guy that mastered Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins can master your track on Landr
That
Network.
is cool, man.
It's special, yeah, and like so I like it because we're not saying, we're the only solution for mastering. We're like, no, you can get a
That's
person.
really cool, man.
If you want the personalized touch, it's going to cost more.
Of course,
But
yeah, yeah.
at the end of the day, it's usually going to be better, except for your specific case there that you had. I mean, some people will say they master music, but they might not
Yeah.
master music, or
Well,
they might
dude,
not have the right tools, right? Because
yeah.
it's such a process that you need the correct room. You need.
I had zero desire to learn how to I'm like, I just want to make music, man. I don't want to like learn how to master all this stuff. That's why I was like, I'll just sub it out, go straight to you guys, and I love it. I'm very happy with the quality and stuff. And like I said, I ended up just for the distribution part. But there's so I actually speaking to Fred, the artist relations manager. I guess is that what it's called? His position, artist relations, or
He's the affiliate program manager. Yeah.
okay. So he just also mentioned something where you guys have, and I'm really excited about this, like some sort of plugin that you could plug into Logic or any of your DAWs, your music recording workstations, and you can collaborate people with people, and you can essentially like show them your live session. Is that correct?
Yeah, so like we could do this on Zoom right now. I could screencast a session,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but the quality of audio is going to differ because Zoom is it's changing our voice audio to so we can understand each other, so there's no feedback. But
It
there,
has such a
it's
distinct tone, man. You could totally tell when somebody's speaking on like a digital like Zoom. It has a distinct tone.
yeah, and it's doing this so you can have the best conversation.
Yeah.
But listening to music isn't a conversation. It's the art of listening, and we created a video chat plugin where it'll stream the audio uncompromised from your workstation through to the video chat, and so you can hear exactly what the other person is hearing on the other line. So you can really kind of make really granular decisions.
Yeah.
Like I need just a little bit less 1K on that vocal
Yeah.
and
But
the
you're
other
never gonna
person,
hear it through Zoom.
yeah, it'll be compromised, right? So you're going to make
Yeah.
decisions based on the Zoom audio, which isn't going to be reflecting the music. It's going to be, yeah. So it's a great tool to start if you need to remotely collaborate, especially with like mixing and songwriting, and some people even use it for music lessons if they want to hear a
Wow.
nice guitar tone, or
Yeah,
like
that's pretty cool.
I'll teach people and put my guitar through sessions so I can have like an amp modeler, and then it goes through the video chat, and it just
That's
sounds
actually
cool.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea actually. Huh. So I was actually so let's go back to your syncing that you were talking about really quickly. What do you think that Landr will ever get into the syncing? So for people that don't know, music syncing is like essentially I write a song and it gets put into like Grey's Anatomy or a movie trailer or anything like that. Like, do you think that that'll become a service that you guys will offer anytime soon, or is that just something you're not
There's
interested in?
there I can't say much to that. I know
Okay.
there are plans to kind of I'm not going to say much. There are plans to maybe look into that.
Okay.
But
I
nothing set in
understand.
stone at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. So, is there any other like kind of if you were to like pitch your company to somebody like Landr to something, what are some of the other services that you guys do offer? So I know that we talked about all things so far. Is like why how do you guys differentiate from other companies?
I just yeah. If you come to Lander, everything's there for you to create and finish a piece of music and have ears on it. It's going to be the fastest, most efficient way to get the tools that you need to finish something and have a professional quality song out on streaming services
Yeah.
without touching too many other things.
Hmm. Can we get technical for like 2 seconds? I'm curious if you know how. Like, so I know that when you mastered, you have essentially like six different options. It's like the loud, medium, and I'm
It's going
drawing,
to be like warm, medium, and or more warm, balanced, and open.
and then and then something medium and high, right?
Right, that's the loudness. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So can you how do those work?
So you have like warm, balanced, and open, and that's going to adjust more of the EQ decisions. So like warm, maybe you're kind of dampening a bit of the high end, and bringing up more of the lows and the low mids. And then balance is going to be more balanced overall. So it's going to make those decisions to have just the most balanced mix. And then
Hmm.
open is going to be more of a high end sparkle on it. And then
Yeah.
the loudness is just like, do you want it to be low, medium, or high? So you can choose.
Does that affect the compression?
That's a good question. I don't feel like it affects the compression, more the limiting on the final, right? So it's going to be louder basically. So it's going to hit the limiter a bit harder if you choose high,
Okay.
and then less if you choose medium, and then even less if you choose low. So it depends on your mix at the end of the day, really. Like, do you have a compressor on your master bus going into Landr? Are you hitting that hard? Because that's going to affect everything too, right?
Yeah.
So your mix really still has a lot to play into how Landr is going to respond to it.
Yeah. Somebody actually just in the live stream chat said, "Oh, I just used Landr the other day. Awesome stuff." So shout
Oh,
out to you
good.
guys.
Nice.
That's cool. Um, so what do you have any recommendations? So if somebody's starting off, like, okay, you and I have been in the industry for quite a few years now, so like we know what we're doing. So I still have so much to learn, but like, you know what I mean. But like somebody starting
Oh,
off,
me too, man. It's
what would
endless.
yeah, I know, I hear you, but like somebody that is just starting off, how would you recommend that they start with Landr? Like, okay, I have my guitar and I have a lyric idea. What steps would you recommend, from Landr or from you, to get my song out onto Spotify? Oh, actually, onto Spotify. That's my question. But I do have a question about your sorry, my brain, sometimes is moving a little fast. Um, with the loudness, how is that affected? This is my personal question. Say I pick the high loudness. Obviously, it's louder. I send that to Spotify, App Music, TikTok. Are you guys on TikTok yet? Actually.
I I believe there are talks in getting on there as well. Well, we
Okay.
distribute to TikTok. Yeah, we distribute to
Oh, okay. Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was my question. So, like, is the loudness um all the same? Like the loudness that's played on YouTube, the same loudness that's played on Spotify, or is that affected by each distributor?
Yeah, that's a good question. I need more knowledge on that, but what
Okay.
I can tell you is that YouTube and Spotify are commonly around minus 14 loops, and that's the loudness unit full scale. And that's an average loudness across your whole song. And so Spotify, if they receive something that's louder than minus 14, like minus 7, they're going to just normalize it back down to minus 14. And from what I've learned from the mastering engineers here at Landr, because I'm not a mastering engineer, I'm a music producer, but he mentioned that it's better to be over than under. You don't want them to be bringing your song up because
Sure, I hear that.
the tools they're using are lots. They're not great quality tools to normalize your track.
Yeah.
You want to use high quality plugins, which Landr does use
Yeah.
to master your music, and which other automated mastering services, they don't use the highest quality plugins when they're mastering your stuff. We use the best plugins that are
Yeah.
available today.
Cool. Very cool. So back to my other question that I
Yeah,
had. How would they start?
that's it. Yeah, that's a great question. I'm thinking like, how did I start? Right, I was
That's
playing in
yeah. I
bands.
would love to know. Yeah. Tell me what's
I
your
was
story then? Yeah.
yeah, I was playing in bands, and like a friend of mine was getting into recording, and we built a little like a soundproof room in his basement as a big project for us, and we were like in high school, right?
Yeah.
And we were getting into recording, and he was using Nuendo or something. And
You didn't use blankets. You didn't hang blankets.
oh, I did in my parents' house because they wouldn't let me build anything in their basement.
Yeah.
But his parents
I
were more into it, so.
I had sleeping bags recording.
But yeah, nowadays there are so many tools to start that I didn't have, right? And now I feel
Yeah.
old saying it, but it's
Yeah. Oh,
true.
I hear you, man. Absolutely.
But the way I would start, if they have a guitar and some lyrics and a simple melody, you know, get that idea down on paper or
Yeah.
into a digital audio workstation. There's free DAWs out there that are completely accessible for
Hmm.
Mac and Windows. You know, Cakewalk is incredible. GarageBand is incredible. The amount of stuff you get in both of those things, there's no excuse for you
Absolutely.
to not be creating. So grab one of those. If you're on Windows, grab Cakewalk. If you're on Mac, grab GarageBand, record your idea, you know, and then if you're not sure where to go, hire someone to tell you where to go. Hire someone with experience that's going to give you some feedback and be like, listen, this is good, but what you could do to make this better is this. And just, you have to just continuously hash it out, you know?
Yeah,
Rome
that's
wasn't
interesting.
built in a day, is what they say. And like,
And
those statues you see, they didn't just, they kept chipping away at them. And
it's
that's like,
so
that's,
true. And one of the things that frustrates me as a musician is I see so many other musicians that say, "Oh, I'm not going to start until I can start here." And it's like, no, nobody started up here. Like we all started down here. Like I said, I started recording in my parents' basement with sleeping bags and a Rock Band USB microphone. Like I unplugged it from my Xbox 360 and plugged into my computer and recorded my. It's like that's how we all started, and now, people expect, oh, I'm gonna spend $50,000 on gear or $5,000 even dollars on gear, and it's like they don't know how to use it. You know what I mean? And I don't, like I like working with what I know until I start upgrading. Like I just upgraded some stuff here, and I'm like, great, now I got a feedback loop that I don't know is where it's coming from that I got to figure out.
well, that's like, it's almost like, I forget what the expression is, but it's there's choice anxiety now because there are too many
Yeah,
tools, right? And so we didn't have that when we were younger. We just found what worked,
yeah,
and that's
exactly.
and that was a blessing in disguise, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now, yeah, there's choice anxiety. Like there's too many things, and so but someone has to start somewhere. And I get that anxiety still. Like I'm like, oh, look at that, and you could hoard plugins all day, but if you're
Oh
not
my
using them,
gosh.
if you're not putting the time in, you won't progress. You have to put the time in.
Yeah, and that's another thing that you guys offer too. Actually, is it rent to own plugins or can you buy plugins straight from you? How does that work?
Yeah, so our plugins section is kind of still in its infancy. We
Okay.
currently host like a synthesizer and called Lethal and Autotune, and
Yeah, I
so
just got an email about that.
you can rent to own those plugins, which is affordable. And then at the end of whatever the term is, you own the plugin, so you don't have to subscribe to retain access, right?
Oh, that's cool.
And we have a really ambitious plan to release more plugins by the end of this year. So I'm looking
Very
forward to
cool.
seeing those things come out. And actually, what was just released is our samples DAW plugin. So I encourage people to check that out. It's a really easy way to get started. If you browse our samples in the DAW plugin, the loops will automatically sync to your DAW session and pitch shift themselves to sync up with the
Wow.
key of the song. So you can just drag and drop stuff in, and it'll just work together like magic. And so you can make a song in under a minute if your
Yeah.
expectations aren't that high. Obviously, it's better to kind of carve away at something and make it
Yeah.
unique, but you could take loops and get inspired really fast with this new thing.
So actually, from my own curiosity, so I use Splice because I got Splice before you offered plugins. I assumed that it was gonna be like Sounds.com. I don't know. Like before you Splice, I used Sounds.com where I had to actually download each specific plugin and just save it somewhere on my computer. And I found it to be a headache. Where Splice had its app where I could download it on the website, bring it into that the app, and then just drag it. You guys have a plugin where how does that work?
So yeah, like our samples platform used to be like that. You had to download it to your computer, then import it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But now, yeah, we have the plugin that syncs directly with the samples platform, and you just drag the sound right in. It's a plugin that sits in a track, and you just browse and drag it in. And I've been
Hmm.
waiting for that for so long because like the the pain point is not there anymore. The accessibility is like
Yeah,
it's right
absolutely.
there. It's
Well,
so
I think I
great.
might have to. I might very well have to consider doing that switch over because I
And
already use Landr, so I did. But that was a big, like you said, pain point where it's like I don't want to have a folder of 10,000 different samples that I use.
yeah, my
Which
favorite
yeah.
absolute part of this is that let's say you have like a track with vocals, guitar, and piano, right? And you find a bass loop and you're not sure if you want to spend some credits on it. You can play your session and the bass
Whoa!
loop will play along with it. So you can
Wow!
audition the loop before you buy it.
That's
Right?
crazy.
It'll sync up automatically and then you can, not that one. So you can cycle through, maybe this one. No, and then,
Whoa! How did so
and I,
so? What's the how does that work? That you say like is it per? Do you get a certain amount of credits per month or how does that work?
um, you have to forgive me. The pricing on that, I'm not I don't have off the top of my head. But
But
yeah,
is it a credit based system where you pay
it
whatever a month and you get a certain amount of credits?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's interesting because, that's super like cool because like with Splice you just got to see, do I think this is gonna sound good inside of my song? You know what I mean? That's interesting.
Yeah, and that technology comes from our creator tool, which is a web-based app, and it's in the samples website. Basically, it's the same functionality, but you can stack up to 8 loops together to see if they
Hmm.
sound good before you
Hmm.
commit to them. So what I like to do is like
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah,
I'll grab
that's a good
four
idea.
loops. I'll grab 4 loops, maybe like bass, drums, piano, voice, and then see if they sound good together. They'll all sync up to the same tempo and key, and then you can play along with them. And it's just in a browser, right? You can even do this on mobile. You can go in, you're on the bus screwing around, you're stacking up loops, you have your headphones on, you're like, oh, that inspires me. I'm going to put it into my collections. I get home, I open my DAW, I open the samples plugin. Those samples are there, I drag them in, and then I have something to start with, you know? So
Yeah.
that inspiration, I love the inspiration flow. It's my
No,
favorite part.
that's really cool. So I'm learning so much, man, about all these opportunities. Anything else? But we'll wrap it up in a minute. Anything else that
Yeah,
you would
cool.
assume that I don't know about that I can learn about, so now I can go utilize Landr even more further.
Oh man, am I forgetting anything? We have a bunch more products coming out just to like that. Basically, it's like a puzzle. We're trying to fill all the needs for the musician
Yeah,
and kind
I
of
like
fill
it.
in
Yeah,
how they work together. Um, yeah, it's I'm looking forward to seeing the evolution of the company and how we can start to bundle these services in a more cohesive manner so they're really accessible depending on where you're
are
at in the
you all
creation
over the
process.
world?
Our main office is in Montreal,
Oh
but
wow, I thought it was California for some reason. Cool.
we have an office in LA as well as Berlin.
Oh wow, cool. But if you're accessible like almost all over the world, or
Yeah,
all over
yeah.
the world. Oh, cool. Okay, very cool. Um, the final two questions I have for you is that Ultra HD option when you're mastering for releasing on Spotify or something like that. Is that necessary, or is that I see when I see it, it's like for cataloging music, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, like oh man, this is where I would like need to have some more knowledge on bit
Sure, that's fine.
depth and everything. Like I know 44.1 kilohertz
Mm-hmm.
16 bit is usually for CD, and that's going to be this the wave option on
Yeah,
Landr, and then the HD wave is 24 bit, and that's going to be a bit higher quality.
it's also going to be a massive file size.
It's going to be a massive file size, but yeah, I mean that's the file. The specs I use when I submit for sync opportunities is the 24 bit.
Oh,
And I actually
interesting.
I use 48 kilohertz. That's what they request all the time.
Wow,
And
interesting.
sometimes even AIFF files as well, which they seem to kind of retain the same quality as waves, but with a lower file size.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Very interesting.
Yeah, but
Cool.
yeah, I need to. I'm learning more and more every day. You know.
Yeah, so am I, absolutely. So the last question before we wrap it up that I have for you is, if we were to, how does somebody get involved in that artists section where like people can set like get recommend like essentially get feedback on their music? Like, how does an artist get involved in that? Like,
Well, yeah, you can go to network.lander.com
okay,
and yeah, you can. If you're looking to offer services, you can sign up to do that. And if you're looking to purchase services, you just need a Landr account.
great.
And you can browse the list of pros. You can ask for feedback based on their experience. You can filter all sorts of different ways to see um, who's the best to help you at your point and what your price point is as well.
Perfect. That's good to know. All right, man. I really appreciate your help. Thank you so much. Like I said, I am very, very, very happy with the services offered with Landr. I personally use them like all the time. And what's also cool is like when you pay for their subscription, you can upload as many songs as you want, right? To get master. It's unlimited mastering, right? I
Yeah,
believe
it's
when you have it.
unlimited. Yeah, there's no limit on the cloud storage.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So like, I'll test songs like before I release them a whole bunch of times. I'll be like, okay, how does this sound mastered? I want to adjust this. How does this sound? Oh, I want to adjust this. You know what? That's the beautiful part. Where as opposed to like, I used to feel terrible to have to when every time I talk to that guy that I was getting mad. I was like, bro, can we change? You know, I need to change and he'd have to master it all over
Based on
again.
based on what you're just saying, I forgot one thing, and that's a
Okay.
new feature we're releasing. It's actually called revisions, where you have a master, and you can revise it and suggest mastering decisions based on what you want. So you could say, "Oh, the low end is still too muddy. I want more high end sparkle," and so that's coming.
Whoa.
It's yeah. So after you master, you can access revisions and make it even more custom to your taste.
Wow. Is that available now or is that coming out soon?
That's coming out soon. It should be at the
Very cool.
End of April. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Well, I
Yeah.
really, really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on the show, and I will talk to you soon, man. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Sounds good. Have a good
All
one.
right, so I'll just I'm gonna end this, and I'll just say thank you on privately. But all
Yeah,
right,
for
one
sure.
sec. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys had a great time. If you had not subscribed yet, please consider doing so, and I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless and peace out. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.